Writer and director Carrie Mackenzie is joining me in studio to talk about her film that will be premiering at the Durban International Film Festival, Cold Harbour. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
It's quite an early one today.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. So Cold Harbour is going to be premiering on Friday at the Durban International Film Festival. Is it
Saturday.
Saturday. Sorry,
19th.
on Saturday at the Durban International Film Festival. Why don't you tell me about the storyline, because you actually wrote and directed the film.
Sure.
So how did this story come about?
Cold Harbour is a noir thriller set in Cape Town, and it's about a township cop, Sizwe, played by Tony Goroge, and he investigates a triad murder, the murder of a Chinese man, and in doing so uncovers a police parliament smuggling syndicate.
Wow.
So it's about a cop who has to take on police corruption.
Now, are you from Cape Town?
I am, born and raised.
Why did you choose to tell that story here in Cape Town?
I came across like shreds in the news about these syndicates, and I also was out jogging between St. James and Muizenberg and saw a man's leg on the rocks.
What?
And it was a leg with a sock, and some cops, and trying to figure out what was going on. And this just got me thinking about what if a body turns up and it's somebody foreign, and there's no record of who he is or where he's come from, and how that unravels.
What did you feel in that moment when you saw a leg lying on the ground?
It's very disconcerting.
Yeah.
And it turned out actually to be something quite innocent. It was a fisherman who had been washed off the rocks at Huncliffe and literally, come all the way across False Bay, and whose body had probably been dismembered by sharks. I mean, so it's kind of gnarly out there. But I think that's also been part of the inspiration for this film, that Cape Town is a really beautiful place, but also has this underlying current of something dangerous.
Now, do you hope to shine light on some of the issues that we experience here in South Africa for the international audiences who see?
Absolutely. I mean, I think corruption is an international issue. I don't think it's a problem that's unique to South Africa. So my approach is really to try and tell a universal story by doing something very particular and hopefully authentic to Cape Town.
Now, it's quite a dark film. Do you kind of get into those dark moments when you're writing it, when you're on set? What's the mood on set when you're filming something like this?
We had a really special atmosphere on set. We have an amazing cast. We have Tony Goroge, Fana Makwena, Thomas Gumede, who always lightens the atmosphere, and we had Zolani Mahola. So, and the crew was just incredibly committed. We were making a low-budget action movie, effectively, which should be a contradiction in terms. So it was kind of extraordinary that we got together a bunch of people who were ready to take it on and go, yes, we will do fights in 2 hours, and we will.
Did they do their own stunts?
Tony did his own stunts, which was great. I mean, he was very physically committed to the role. He has a history as a boxer, so he trained with a Dragon Power with Quinton Chong, with whom he has a fight. But to answer your question, I think the film's really atmospheric, and yes, it's dark. I think it's a noir, and that's all about this sense of alienation and about going into the dark heart of the city. But in terms of our experience making it, it was just really strong, collaborative. I had huge amounts of fun, but challenging, obviously.
Now, for people who haven't seen a noir film, what can they expect to experience when seeing this movie?
A noir hero is usually somewhat morally compromised in himself, and it's classically it's about temptation, and there's usually a femme fatale. So it's kind of on one level an Adam and Eve story, that Eve has the apple and come this way and knowledge and you will get the money or whatever that thing is. And we have that, Tony plays opposite Chinese actress Yunnan, and she's the femme fatale. But really in our film, the antagonist is a South African gangster played by Fana Makwena.
Now, there are a lot of great films coming out from South African directors, filmed here, written here, directed here. Do you think South African film is making a resurgence on the international stage?
I think it's, we're going through an evolution. If you think about, there were films made during apartheid time, some of them made underground, like Mapansula, which were extraordinary films, but there were just one or two, and slowly the numbers are growing. I think we certainly benefited from some state initiatives to support local production, which are wonderful. I mean, my personal hope is that the numbers grow and grow, so that it's not a case of South African films have to be any particular thing.
Yeah.
That actually there becomes such a variety that South African films can be heartwarming and, you know, nerve jangling and you know, stylish and funny, and you know, so that we it's not just it's a South African movie. You can expect one thing. Yeah.
All right. Well, very exciting. You are premiering at the Durban International Film Festival on Saturday. Are you nervous?
Of course.
Yeah. This is your first feature film that you've directed.
It is. I've made a feature documentary
Yeah.
a while ago, but this is the first feature. Yeah.
So, where do the nerves come from? What are you anticipating what the audience will think?
Very, very few people have seen the film at this point, so I don't really know how people will respond. We're doing something that hasn't been done. You know, no one's done a genre film of this sort in South Africa. I mean, my idea was I wanted to make a hero who was sexy, cool, and dangerous,
right.
like a classic kind of Steve McQueen, you know, a hero in the Jamie Foxx model, and we don't have that. We don't have a national cinema hero like that.
When can the rest of South Africa see the film?
The film is released nationally on Friday, July 25th, and it'll be in cinemas pretty much nationwide.